What's happening, YouTube? All my people following me on Facebook, IG, and on YouTube. How y'all doing tonight? It's me, a single life gainer, Lamont Tyson. I don't know where the rest of the other Avengers are at, but hopefully they'll slide on in here in a little bit. Tonight we've got a pretty packed show for you guys. We're going to be covering DMX, situation going on with him. We're going to review the Amazon great comic called Invincible. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen it, it is really good. If you love the boys, you'll definitely like Invincible. Amazon's doing a great job. We're going to talk about the fiasco going on with people losing their minds that Kong versus Godzilla has made more money in the opening weekend than Wonder Woman made the entire time, the last Wonder Woman. Well, there are some advantages to that, and we'll talk about that when we get there. And then last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, we'll end this video, on a trailer review for Loki. And so before we get this thing rolling, let me shout out the people in the building. So right now we got Be More Careful. We've got Buzz, what's up, my brother? What's up, my family? And we've got about 17 other people joining us now in the first minute and a half. Be sure all of you guys like the video, share it, binge watch some of the other content on the channel. And let's go on ahead and get started. As the other Avengers jump into this video with me, we'll bring them in. What's up, Tressa C? Glad you're in the building. Let's start out with DMX, my people, because it is a chaotic situation going on with him and his family right now. He got into some issues over the weekend that got him in the hospital, stopped his heart. Let's take a look at the news clip and then we'll break it down piece by piece.
Rapper DMX, whose real name is Earl Simmons, is in critical condition here at White Plains Hospital. TMZ is reporting the 50-year-old musician and actor overdosed Friday night at his Yonkers home and went into cardiac arrest as he was rushed to the hospital. His attorney wouldn't confirm the overdose, but did confirm the heart attack. Earlier this evening, personal attorney Murray Richman said DMX was taken off life support, but late this evening he admitted he was misinformed and apologized, saying DMX remains on life support. Still, Richman says the prognosis is not good.
It would be disingenuous of me to suggest that I'm not a worried man at this particular point.
Richman has been defending DMX for 25 years, including on tax evasion, in which the rapper spent a year in jail.
I've been with him through thick and thick. Never thin, plenty thick.
DMX has a history of substance abuse and reportedly checked into rehab in 2019 while on tour celebrating the 20th anniversary of his platinum album, It's Dark and Hell's Hot. The rapper has been candid about his struggles with cocaine addiction and once told a reporter that he first used crack at 14 years old. Those close to him here in Westchester are hoping for a miracle.
It's going to either be a huge testimony of his if he makes it, and if he's not, we're at the end of the pandemic, and what a way to go out.
The entertainment world taking to social media Saturday. Missy Elliott tweeting prayers for DMX and his family. Academy Award-winning actress Viola Davis tweeting praying for DMX. The artist is in rare company, one of only a few people in entertainment history with both a #1 album and movie that topped the North American box office.
Earl Simmons, DMX, in my opinion, is one of the great poets of our time. And what he had to say, if people bother to listen and they can overcome their hostility to rap, would learn a great deal.
Because of privacy laws, the hospital is not commenting on DMX's condition. His attorney says one of his ex-wives and one of his children are holding vigil here at the hospital. We're live tonight in White Plains. Rob Hoyle, Pix 11 News.
Oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, oh boy. Supposedly the issue that happened with DMX was an overdose. Now, what drug did he overdose on? People are speculating it was crack cocaine. There have been some other speculations as to what happened. But let me just say this. I was in high school when DMX and Rough Riders was hot. And I did get this album right here. It's Dark and Hell is Hot. And you could bump this thing well from my senior year in high school, which was 1999, into about 2002. I mean, Rough Riders was taking over everything. I used this song plenty of times. I used songs on that album plenty of times to get me hyped for sporting events, to get me hyped for tests, and to just get me through so that I could keep pushing. His lawyer said it best. If some people could get over the graphic nature of rap, you might could get a great message that some of these rappers put into their raps. They're poets basically, and they put their things on display, and they have to lace it a little bit with some stuff to just draw the crowd. I mean, people do that in entertainment all the time. So my fondest memory of DMX is going to be that I did get his album. And that was only one of 3 albums I ever bought as a kid. One of 3. I bought Wu-Tang when that dropped. And I bought this. And you could listen from track number 1 through the very end. Now, one thing that they did nice for DMX was all the Rough Riders crew came out to the hospital with their bikes to show some love and some support for DMX. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, me and Larry are pretty good about giving you guys predictions. And unfortunately, just listening to the nature of how his heart stopped and just the nature of the fanfare, I'm going to make another prediction, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not seeing DMX pulling out of this one. It just doesn't seem like he's going to be able to make it. Now, he got sick with some similar issues a few years back, and they talked about how bad his rehab was. And, you know, the dude is a legend in the rap game. But this one right here is of a nature where the attorney said he thought DMX was off life support. He wasn't. And he's still on life support, ladies and gentlemen. I hope he can pull through. I don't think he's going to pull through. So don't be surprised if it doesn't happen. And joining us now is my brother, Larry. Larry, we're just talking about this issue going on with DMX. What are your thoughts about DMX? What memories do you have of DMX? And where are you at with this story?
Yeah, man, it's sad to hear what's happening. And at the same time, it's not surprising at all because, I mean, he's been fighting these demons for a long time. And, I mean, if you listen to his music, you can tell the dude's fighting demons. But, you know, it's just sad that he's had these drug issues for so many years. And, you know, I know people in the rap game have tried to help him. He's gone through rehab. I think he's even been on like that celebrity rehab. And, I mean, he's been trying for a long time. And I think it's just there's some people, I think when they just start using drugs at such a young age, and I could be completely wrong about this. I don't know anything seriously about addiction. I've never been addicted and thank God for that. I don't have any, family or anything close to me that's addicted. So I don't really know, but it seems to me that when people get addicted at a very young age, that it changes their brain chemistry, and some people can never not be off of that stuff. They're always, some people can, but I guess it's always going to be such a struggle for people not to use. Some people just don't have it in them. Some people are just always going to be, active addicts. Mm-hmm. And it's sad, and
I mean, to that point, Larry, I can relate not to drug addiction, but to food addiction. And this has been something that's been plaguing me since a kid. Now, you can say that I got it under control, but that's just because I have point checks and barriers I put in place to make sure that I don't fall back into the issues that got me at 325 pounds in the first place. And it did start, Larry, when I was a child. I mean, a little child. I'm talking elementary school is when it started. And so Can you imagine? Food is an addiction and can be a strong addiction. But from everyone that I know, and I've talked to some people that have had food addiction with drug addiction, they say that as much as the food addiction is intense, the drug addiction is even more intense. And I'm telling y'all, it's hard to break a food addiction for your health. I can only imagine what this guy was going through to get off drugs. I can only imagine. And it got to the point now they're saying Larry OD'd on some drugs that caused his heart to stop. And he's still on a ventilator right now as we speak.
Yeah, I mean, it's I hope he pulls through. You know, I hope he pulls through and he can make it all right. The problem is that if he comes out of this, I mean, I can only imagine the damage that he's done to his heart now. That even if he pulls out of this and he makes it out, if he doesn't completely change his behavior, he's going to go back and use again, and he's going to end up dying relatively soon after, you know, he gets himself out of the hospital and gets right, because his heart's not going to be able to handle that much, that kind of stress again. So
it's going to be tough.
You know,
man.
I mean, he's going to have to, if he's able to pull out of this, he's going to have to be able to find a way to get clean and stay clean, you know?
Yeah.
It's just sad because there's so many people out there that use drugs, and some people use drugs because they feel they need to dull whatever pain life is giving them. Some people use drugs because they get started, you know, from prescriptions. I think Prince went out that way. He fell off a stage and hurt his back and got started because he was using the prescription drugs, and that just went off like a lot of people do, using, you know, abusing the prescriptions and then getting street drugs and all kinds of stuff that people do. And you know, people the same with Michael Jackson. I believe he started down that same route. He got injured, you know, performing, and that set him off on that thing. And there's other people that use drugs recreationally and never seem to have an issue with it.
Yeah.
And it's just sad because you see people when they do use it, and there's other people that are around them that can sit up there and can use heroin, they can smoke coke, they can do all that stuff that they want to do, and they can get up the next day and go to work and not crave it. And the other people that they're using with will be in that same place they were the night before, binging all day, all night, or scrounging around trying to find money so they can use again all day and all night. And so you end up with people who enable them, because those people, I mean, he may have friends that are like, oh yeah, man, let's go ahead. We can do some coke. We can do some heroin. And those people will get up and go to work. And then this dude's up here, you know, killing himself with it. And so, I mean, you need to be around people that are going to be completely clean and, you know, and are aggressively sober. And I, you know, there are people that are like that. There are people who are aggressively sober. They will kick your door in at the middle of the night if you don't answer your door if they think you're using, you know?
Yeah, man.
There are people that will show up to the most uncomfortable places in your life and call you out if they think you're using. And sometimes people like that need that kind of aggressive sobriety, you know?
Call it tough love or whatever you want to call it. Sometimes that is exactly what's needed in certain cases. And so we're hoping this brother the best. And we hope that not only he survives, but he can thrive, get himself cleaned up, and counsel to the young boys trying to come up in the rap game. But Larry, I'm not feeling too positive.
I mean, forget about the pressure of having him counsel anybody. I don't want him counseling anybody just yet. I just want him, and I know what you mean by, I'm not trying to say that you're trying to put him out there. Me, I just think that I don't want him to have to even worry about that kind of pressure. I just want him to be able to get himself physically clean so that he can be okay and alive. And I hope he can get the help that he needs so that he can stay clean, because at this point his body can't withstand any more abuse. And that's what drugs are. I mean, those hard drugs. I'm not talking about people who have, you know, some drinks on the weekend or smoke some weed here and there. I'm talking about people who use drugs regularly, whether that be someone who's an alcoholic and is knocking back a fifth of vodka every night, or somebody who's drinking a 12-pack every day, or somebody who's smoking an ounce of weed every day, you know, or doing coke. I mean, all of that all those substances are abusive to your body, and they take a toll on your body, even in the ones that are not addictive. You know, drugs like marijuana, it's not addictive, but it takes a toll. If you're smoking weed all day, all night, it's like smoking cigarettes. That crap is going to take a toll on your body, you know? So I hope he can get himself together. I hope he can make it through this alive and get himself together and, you know, and get healthy. And I hope whoever's around him right now, apparently they are not the people that should be around him. And I hope maybe he can find a better circle of friends, a better circle of support that will actually be there for him.
Yeah, we're wishing X the best. X, get well, my brother. Try to get back rehab and get back on your grind, my brother. But like I said, ladies and gentlemen, just being a respiratory therapist and dealing with these situations, I'm not seeing the greatest. I really don't. I just got this sick feeling. I hope I'm wrong, but we'll let you guys know as the story goes on. So that was the saddest story I had for you guys today. Now we're going to try to pick up the tempo a little bit. Larry, you've seen the last episode of Amazon's Invincible. Give me your 2-minute recap of what you think. That show go hard.
Man, I can give you our recap in 2 seconds. That show is nuts.
Okay. Well, that's Larry's 2-second review. Let's take a look at one of the clips from this last episode, ladies and gentlemen. We're telling you. This show is a must watch, especially if you like The Boys. Let's take a look at one of the main plot points. And then I'm going to break this thing down because the writers of this particular episode, they stole inspiration from several people, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. Take a look.
Yeah. What's going on?
NASA's about to launch the first manned mission to Mars.
Yeah, I saw that. It's cool.
I need your father to shadow the mission, make sure nothing goes wrong.
I can zip up to Mars and be back tomorrow.
The fact that you don't know how far away Mars is exactly why you shouldn't be missing school.
Lots of people are going to tell you how to use your powers, but it's up to you to make these decisions. You need to decide what kind of hero you want to be.
Ladies and gentlemen, Amazon is hitting it out the park with these superhero movies and comics, man. This one is a damn good show. It's an adult show. Yeah. And in this particular episode, ladies and gentlemen, the writers of this comic stole inspiration from Marvel with the Venom symbiote. They stole inspiration from DC with the stars and the Martians on Mars. And then they stole some more inspiration from Marvel in the very beginning, where it's almost like they had an apocalypse character come out of a mummy's coffin. And Larry, that's where we're going to start this review.
And they basically jacked the Super Friends.
To some degree, yes, they jacked the Guardians, but I was just speaking of this particular episode. And this episode starts out with, Larry, what the hell did this guy think was going to happen? When you go inside of a tomb to reincarnate an evil spirit, there's going to be a sacrifice. Hell, the good Lord himself had a sacrifice called Jesus Christ. Did this clown really think he was going to be able to go in there, reincarnate this evil spirit, and get out alive, Larry? What was he thinking?
He thought he did. He thought he was going to go in there and become this dude's right-hand man or something. Yeah. And woo, boy. Yeah, that's stupid on top of stupid right there.
Exactly, man. And before we move on, let me shout out my brother here. Big time Mike Willie coming through with the super chat, my people. Watch out. This brother said he's going to join us on the show one day. And y'all know when I get these type of super chats, the mission for me having these super chats is to free up time that I can bring on my subscribers on the show so they can get their voices out, new upcoming YouTubers who want to grow their models so they can get their voices out, and to continue to be a voice of networking for us African-American YouTubers. And when you guys super chat like that, you give me time to do it. Oh, man. 703 done went to $10. Lord have mercy.
703.
Lord have mercy.
703.
Boy, Buzz, man, look, I appreciate you. And when I come through your community, me and you're going to hit that gym, and we're going to do some heavy-ass lifting. And the tour is coming, my brother. I mean, these super chats allow me to go hang out with my subscribers, too. And that's why I'm so grateful for you guys sacrificing a couple of dollars to help a brother out. So thank you, Buzz.
I'm going to come through with them, Buzz. But after you guys do your heavy ass lifting, we're going to go find some nice cold beers that have the big 22-ounce steins, and we're going to do some heavy ass lifting too. We're going to go and lift just like this. Go get us a nice big beer stein. And
I bet he is. And so back
And
to
we don't even have to worry
Invincible.
about driving because Lamont's going to have his fancy Tesla with its self-driving. It's just going to say, take us home.
Yeah, it'll take you home now. It'll take you home, but you still ain't supposed to be inebriated in the car now. They pull you over, you're inebriated. It's going to be 3 brothers in a car too. I don't want them kind of problems. So
what you do is you hop in the passenger seat when the cop says, who's driving? You say, well, I thought my friend was. I got in the car. I punched in my home address and the car just started going. I thought my buddy was with me, but I don't know.
Shout out to Rap MD TV. He's an ER doc, or she is an ER doc. Forgive me if I got the gender wrong.
Nice.
I agree. It's not looking good. I mean, us folks who's worked in the ER, we've seen this before. We know. That's why I said, as a former respiratory therapist, and I worked ER before I started working with the kids, these situations like this never look good. So shout out to that person watching us. We appreciate you. And now back to this review, Larry. So after homeboy gets mummified and gets his spirit taken over by whatever, I'm going to call the ghost in there Apocalypse. That's what I'm going to call it. This was Apocalypse. All right. They cut to Omni-Man and Invincible. Omni-Man is trying to teach the son how to go faster, how to do stuff. And it seems like, Larry, for a minute, it seems like Omni-Man is on the up and up, but we already know he's not. So, Larry, why is he putting up this facade with his son? Why do you think he's putting up this good guy facade with his son? You want to protect his son from his dirty deeds?
I think on one level, he wants to protect him from his dirty deeds. I think he wants to be able to make, I think part of it is too, he wants his son to be able to protect himself when the time comes and he has to defend himself. I think he wants him to do that. But also, I think he wants his son to be a worthy partner, because I believe at some point he's going to tell his son what's what. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it's going to be because he's forced to, or if it's going to be because he wants to and he wants to tell him what his plans are. Mm-hmm. So, because I think that somehow, like, that he's making it out to be that these Viltrians or Viltron, what do they call themselves again?
I forgot. V somethings.
Yeah, they're from Viltron or Viltrim or something. Anyways, whatever they call themselves. I think there's more to it. I don't think those people are as innocent and as righteous as they claim, because they make it seem as if they, once they all come of age, they go to a different world someplace and they defend that world and they're that world's champion. Mm-hmm. I don't think so. I think they might go to that world and do that, but then I think they might also sort of take over and rule that world. And
yeah,
I think
that
a
lot of those vibes too. Mm-hmm. I
think that's where he's at. I think he went to Earth. He found all of the Earth's superpower. You know, they're superheroes, and now that he's killed them, there's nothing standing in his way. I think he wants his son on his side, and he knows the only person that probably could fight him is his son. So he's trying to get his son trained up, get him on his good side, and then he's gonna take over the Earth.
Well, I do believe that some point in time, it probably won't be this season, it's going to wind up being the son versus the daddy, and the son's going to wind up having to take out the daddy. Larry, they didn't name this boy Invincible for nothing. Right now, we're seeing a coming of age of this young man, and we'll see what happens. And then, Larry, we'll careen right on into this story right here, man. Now, this is Dark Blood.
He'll be back.
Demonic defender and investigator at that. Well, the wife, this is the wife snooping around, because he popped up at the house in the last episode, just snooping around because he knows something is afoul with how the Guardians died. He's investigating it. And so, you know, the wife is snooping, and then she's talking to her friend who said you can't trust the superheroes, and I think she's about right. And then after that, we see Omni-Man pop up in his office, hovering over the brother, talking junk to him, saying, stay out my family's house or else you're going to have some trouble. But Larry, I got a feeling here that maybe this demonic demon can hold his own, because if Omni-Man is so powerful and he's already showed you he's not afraid to flex his muscle, Omni-Man could have put hands on this guy and said, stay away from my house, but he didn't. Which makes me think that Demon Boy here has some kind of power or something that Omni-Man is going to have to reckon with. What did you get from this, Larry?
Yeah, I think Omni-Man knows that he has a problem with this demon dude because the demon dude's dead. Like, you can't kill him. What are you gonna? I mean, like what they ended up doing in this episode. I mean, are we spoiling stuff?
Yeah, you can go. Yeah, you can spoil it because we're gonna talk about that in the end anyway. I got that. That's like one of the last clips. What you about to say?
So I mean, they exorcised him and sent him back to hell. But I think that's the only thing that you really can do with the demon because you can't. I mean, like maybe you can defeat him in some level, like you beat him up so that he can't beat you.
Right.
But that's kind of the most that you can do. You can't kill him. Like he was able to kill all the rest of the Guardians. You can't kill this demon because he's already dead.
So you can't do nothing with him. And you know, considering he knows the power Omni-Man has, he stayed calm, cool, and collected the whole time. He didn't flinch. Hell, he basically said, I'm gonna be on that ass regardless because I know something's running afoul. So
yeah.
We haven't seen the last of him, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me.
Nah, he'll be back.
He'll be back. And then this was funny to me, Larry. We get on to Brother Blue. It killed his brother in the last episode, twin brother. And we find out that he's taking his own DNA. He had to use a damn drill to drill into his skin because it's so thick and tough to create the blood to make his twin brother, his own DNA splice. And Larry, what are we going to do with these two blue balls?
Oh man, these dudes are just a mess. They're comedy though. They're just straight up comedy.
They are
and
funny.
The fact that that dude was just feeding all kinds of meat up into that thing to get his brother growing, that was just hilarious and gross all at the same time.
Yeah, it was, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to jump on this show if you're missing out. Now, here was a plot twist, Larry. This is when we start seeing that there's like 5 different narratives going on in this story that they're going to have to culminate at some point in time. So we learned that Robot of the new Guardians is trying to take blood from these heroes. Larry, he took Homeboy's blood, and you see the needle going back into his arm right now. Then we later see at the end of the show that he's going and kneeling at the behest of some creature he's creating. Larry, is he down with Omni-Man? What do you think? Or Larry, let me put it like this. Could we be seeing a war between Omni-Man's people and another race of people that hate Omni-Man's people?
We could be seeing that, but I think there might be. I think that this robot might be a fail-safe system. I think there's people that are recognizing that Omni-Man can't be trusted. And maybe they're trying to generate some sort of some combo super hero that will have all these different superheroes' powers combined so that they can defeat them or something. I don't know.
I don't know, Larry, because this is the thing that he was kneeling at the end of the episode, and that don't look like nothing that's going to have a good thinking process. That don't look like nothing that's going to be able to analytically think properly and be on the side of good. I'm definitely thinking Robot is evil too.
He might be. I don't know, man. I'm not thinking that he is though. I think he might be. I think he might be on the up and up.
Okay, we'll see. Ladies and gentlemen, Larry got him on the up and up. I got Robot Ass as a villain. And then we move on to Cecil. Cecil decides to pop up at Omni-Man's house. Yeah, that's Cecil now. Now Cecil is behind his back door running things, Larry. Don't let Cecil fool you. And so he shows up at Omni-Man's house. Basically, Omni-Man is like, you need to make this thing with the Guardians go away. Cecil's saying, I'm working on it. And then Cecil's telling Omni-Man, look, to get your image looking right, to get you in the public eyesight the right way, we got a mission to Mars. We need to make sure that these guys get there safely and get back safely. Omni-Man says he ain't doing it because he want to go somewhere with his lovely wife. So who did they decide to send? His son. And at first, Omni-Man's like, nah, you're not going. Then the mom basically says, you choose to be the kind of hero you want to be. And so the son decides to tell his black boot thing, you know what, honey, I'm going to have to go away for a little while, about 2 weeks. I'll be back. Larry, when you found out about this situation right here, didn't you automatically know something was going to go wrong on this trip to Mars?
Oh, definitely. I mean, definitely. You knew something was up. I think the dad knew there was something up on Mars too. That's why he was telling his son don't go.
And see,
You know?
Cecil knew. Cecil knew from jump, and he ain't Omni-Man don't know. And obviously Cecil knew what the weakness was of what was going to be a terror in Mars. And so the next clip, we see the son accompanying the ship, and they don't even know, ladies and gentlemen, that the son is accompanying them. They don't know. And so when they do finally get to Mars, the son encounters these star thingies that can't do anything to him, but what they can do is when they get on a human being, normal human being, they can take over their brain power, infuse themselves, and then they can kill the Martians. Because after this scene, he goes down there, and these are the Martians. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, this is DC all day. These are two examples of them biting content from DC. Go down there. The Martians have taken the humans, and they're explaining to Invincible, look, when these star thingies get on humans, it's a problem for us, and it's damn near a problem for y'all. And that's what these things look like. So, Larry, take me through what was going through your brain through all this.
Yeah, man, it was. When I saw those starfish things, man, I'll be honest with you, man, I was just laughing. It was so funny to me. All this stuff, it was just so over the top ridiculous.
I'm telling you, that ain't ridiculous, because the other day when we was talking about the stars in DC, me and E-Man was up here with you. This is exactly what we're talking about. They have a huge star that Superman had to make a deal with to keep in his fortress of solitude, because they would jump on you, get on your face, and take you over and make you do their bidding. And I'm telling you, this comic took inspiration from that DC storyline.
All right.
And not to mention that, but then we got Martian shapeshifters, which the Martian Manhunter is a shapeshifter.
Shapeshifter, yeah.
So
I think it's those starfish things that cause that shifted, because once they get on you, then they shift in. They turn in you. They can turn into you, because when they show the last scene, one of the astronauts wasn't the actual astronaut. It was one of these things, because the astronaut was back on Mars still.
Mm-hmm.
And so once it gets on you, it can turn into you.
Yeah, but here's the problem, Larry. That thing is about to come back to Earth.
It is, yeah. That's a problem.
And yeah, that is a problem. The only people that are going to be able to withstand this thing are super people. And you've got, listen to these storylines, Larry. You've got Apocalypse coming out of the tomb. We don't know where they're going to go with him. God almighty. You got the demon that has been sent back to hell. We know he's going to have to come back.
Yeah.
You've got Omni-Man killed the Guardians, so somebody's still got to finish investigating that, and eventually the sun is going to have to go against Omni-Man. And now you've got these Martian star thingies that are on Earth that are going to be trying to eat flesh. Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, and then at the very end, they send my man back to hell, because he's one of the only few people that can probably deal with Omni-Man and any of these other soups. If you guys are not watching this show, you are missing out. It drops every Friday night on Amazon. Please, please go check this out. Any closing remarks, Larry?
Yeah, man, Rexplode, that dude is the best.
Yeah.
That's the dude that runs fast. I love what's his name? Jason something, Manzukas or something like that. That dude is hilarious, man. Yeah, I love that dude in everything that he's in.
Yep. All right, people. Now we're going to talk a little bit about Kong. Decent movie. Let's take a look at some of the action from it. Then we'll talk about some of the controversy. People out here in their feelings again. DC fanboys. Y'all are just making everybody feel very upset right now. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we saw the movie. We'll break it down, but let me tell you guys why DC fanboys are in a tizzy. And there's some more of these Snyder.
Those dudes, man. Those dudes are just
This
they're pitiful.
Yeah, man. This movie in one weekend has already made more money than Wonder Woman 1984 made altogether. Now, you Snyderverse dudes who are here having a heart attack, keep in mind, this movie was in more theaters than Wonder Woman was. And in all honesty, this movie was better. Storyline might not been worth nothing, but ain't nobody come here for the storyline. We came here to see monsters fight. We came here to see good visuals, and that's what we got. And so, Larry, what do you have to say to the Snyder folks who's mad that this movie is doing better than Wonder Woman did? What is up with that?
I mean, Wonder Woman was just a bad movie.
It was a horrible movie.
Horrible. I'll say it was mediocre at best, but it was just it was a bad movie. It had a terrible villain. Wonder Woman was running around just in her feelings about Steve Rogers, and it's sort of like that silly test. It's like, can't you make a movie about a woman, a superhero that's not dependent on her falling in love with some man? How come you don't see people up there running around, and it's like even when you have stuff like Black Panther and Captain America and Falcon, Winter Soldier, all this. They're superheroes. They're not dependent upon them falling in love and being tied to some woman. I don't understand why they can't make a female superhero that's not dependent upon being tied to some dude. Just make her a hero.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one. Thor, his ass is tied to Natalie ruined Thor Portman.
Yeah, but his storyline isn't dependent upon her.
It's not. Well, I would say Wonder Woman's storyline wasn't dependent upon Steve. They could have took him out.
They could have, but they didn't. That's my whole point. I don't understand why they didn't. This whole movie was based on it. Was all tied to him. It was all this bringing him back to life crap. It was like dude died in the first one, and now you couldn't figure out a way to make her a superhero that's awesome and relatable without bringing in this old love dude. I mean, it was just that movie. The more I think about that movie, the more I dislike it.
Well, I'm gonna disagree with your premise. You could have made the movie good and have the love in it, because we see it with men all the time. But the movie was just horrible. I
guess I may not be explaining myself right. I'm not saying that you can't make the movie, that you can't have a love interest in the movie and it not be good. Because I mean, in Black Panther, for instance, they had Nakia and T'Challa that were loving on each other, and that was fine. But if that relationship were not a romantic relationship and just a straight business relationship between King and Spy, it would have been fine. It would have worked out just as well. But you don't. And the reason for that is his story, his journey was not dependent upon his relationship with that woman or any woman for that matter. And that's the problem that often they have with female superheroes. They don't let them operate independent upon some love interest with a man.
Well, they let my girl Brie Larson as Captain Marvel operate independent of any man.
They did, and it was a terrible movie.
It was not terrible, man. It was better than Wonder Woman.
Captain Marvel was hot garbage.
It was not hot garbage. And we'll get back to the subject matter, which is Kong versus Godzilla. I thought the movie done exactly what I wanted it to do. I saw monsters fighting. They did put in a couple of little things in there to try to add a little cuteness. You basically had a symbiont, basically, for each monster. You had Millie Bobby Brown, who was the child person for Godzilla. And then you had, where's this little cute girl at? Not you. Where is you at? You had this girl who was all caking up for Godzilla. Excuse me, King Kong. And the premise of the movie was they was fearing that Godzilla was going crazy. And so they wanted to send King Kong to the center of the earth, and they had a specific name for that place where he could, in essence, help them get the power they need to stop Godzilla. And along the journey, Godzilla finds King Kong because the story is that King Kong and Godzilla's people, ancestors, been fighting each other for years. Okay. Of course, you knew there was going to be a curveball in this shit. You know it was going to be a curveball. The curveball was the people sending them to the center of the earth had deviant aspirations. They was already building a damn Megatroid super robot to kill Godzilla, and they wanted the energy and the life force from this place they were sending them in the middle of the earth to use to power their weapons. And you know what that did? All that did was make King Kong and Godzilla come together to kick the shit out of that Megatroid monster. But Larry, when we talk about the fight scenes, and they even had a podcaster, which was this brother right here, who was the world's leading conspiracy theorist on Godzilla and the Titans. And he winds up linking up with Millie Bobby Brown and this guy, and they warned the daddy that, you know, Godzilla's not bad, that he's being provoked. And we just got great visuals, Larry. I enjoyed the movie for the visuals. I didn't come here for some crazy story plot, and I think they did a good job of not trying to flesh out a too crazy of a story plot. I think it was well timed, well done, and I enjoyed the entertainment value of this movie. How about you, Larry?
It was okay. It was. I'll be honest with you. I felt like I wanted just a little bit more story. I will give you this: the fight scenes between the monsters were exceptionally fun. They were exactly what I had expected, what I hoped for. But with that said, I was hoping for just a bit more story, so it was a little bit easier to follow along instead of just sort of. I mean, because I could watch this movie again and kind of just skip, fast forward, and go to each fight scene and be cool with it, you know?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you where I really was like the one dude, what's his name? Julian Dennison, the guy that was in Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see more of him because I like that kid. That dude is funny to me, you know? And I want to see more of him. I don't feel like we got enough. I felt like they were trying to do this whole thing where they were splitting up the different groups between like him and Millie Bobby Brown and the podcaster, and then you had like the military folks, and then you had the other dudes that were, you know, that had their own evil genius on there trying to make that big Megatron thing. So I feel like they had these three storylines separated out, and I felt like we didn't get enough of any one of the three, and I kind of wish they would have, you know, I wish they would have maybe cut it down to two and given us a little bit more. And I would have been okay if they would have chose maybe like the podcaster and that kind of crew a little bit more, but at the same time they could have just probably cut them out altogether. I like them because I like their care. I like the people that were playing those roles, but they probably could have got rid of that storyline altogether, and the movie would have been just as good or bad, whichever one you're thinking.
You know, that was just, like I said, for me, that was plenty of storyline. I didn't need anything else extra. Oh, man, hold on. I missed this one. Steve Haskins, I appreciate you, my brother, as I'm giving everybody the same speed. When you super chat like this, you allow me to continue to devote time to helping other YouTubers, helping build my audience, helping spend time doing all the things I can do to grow my channel in ways that network. So I'm grateful, and I really, really thank you.
Go ahead and give it to him. Give it to him.
Which one should I give him?
You know what? Read the comment. You know which one to give him. You know which one to give him.
All of a sudden, my eyes are hurting. I can't see nothing but that.
Go ahead and burn all that.
My king, we cannot do that. It is our tradition.
When I tell you to do something, I mean that shit. Burn it all!
There you go. The true and rightful ruler of Wakanda.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got 70. Please hit those like buttons and follow the content. Lord have mercy.
Thank you, Steve Haskin. I appreciate that, Mr. Stephen Haskin in the building. I like that.
Larry, my closing word on this movie. Watch it, it's entertaining, but we just got to keep this thing real, Larry. If this was a real fight, King Kong was getting his ass beat. I'm just gonna keep that thing real.
He was getting served up. He was getting handled.
Yeah, he was getting handled. And I was wondering how was they going to do a fight and make it so that King Kong could have a leveraged playing field, and they tried to do that with his little battle axe. But Larry, there is no way.
The battle axe looked like the blade from the battle axe was one of the fins off of Godzilla.
Right.
So.
Which it was. That's why when Godzilla blew his flame on it, it lit up and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, but in all honesty, people, we're just gonna tell you the truth. Godzilla got his ass beat. He did. And if it wasn't for that Megazord beating down Godzilla, Godzilla would have finished his business with King Kong, and it would have been no other Titan other than Godzilla. It's just simple as that. And now we're going to move it, ladies and gentlemen, but definitely go see the movie. It's worth watching. Larry,
I'll say if you have HBO Max, then I would not recommend going to the movie theater for that. But I would say if you have HBO Max, give it a watch. It's fun. I'm not going to dog it and say you shouldn't see it. It's a fun watch.
Yeah, it's fun watching. Here's Steven again. Burn it all. Lord have we're not playing Killmonger no more. Thanks, my
Why not? There we go.
Here we go.
There we go.
I was confused about the Quest Falls rant the other day. Who said FAWS was going to be all about Black experience? So far, they provided mystery, buddy comedy, action, conspiracy. Explain, please. Okay, the director himself, Spellman, is the one who said
that he was going to really. Yeah.
Go ahead. He's the one that said they was going to really explore what it would be like for a Black superhero to be a mainstream superhero in modern times. He hyped it up as if they was going to give us all this Black experience dealing with a character that has traditionally been loved and adored by white Anglo-Saxons, and we're not feeling it. Anthony Mackie did do an interview with Jamel Hill the other day where he stepped outside his norm and he represented for the minorities. Shout out to Jamel Hill for doing a great interview. But in this show so far, and we only got 3 episodes left, Larry? 3?
That's it.
3 episodes left.
And they haven't really touched on much. I mean, they have. It's not like they've totally ignored race. They have brought in race a little bit, but it hasn't been to the extent that they talked about prior to the show. They said that they were going to really touch on these hot button topics that are really in the current mind set today, where everybody's talking about different things with race and I see where they tried to do some of this stuff, like in Baltimore, where the cops rolled up and then they realized, oh, he's an Avenger. The thing at the bank, and he's up there flapping his arms. Oh yeah, look at me and all that. I mean, it's just no, they haven't touched on anything in a real way, and that's what they said they were going to do for us. And now, mind you, if they had not said that, I would not be expecting that, and at this point, I would not be disappointed that I don't have it. But because they said that's what they were going to give us, and they have thus far not given it to us, I am thoroughly disappointed because I came into this wanting and expecting to see that. And now I haven't gotten it. And now, Malcolm Spellman, if I don't get it, I'm about to be pissed off at you.
Well, we'll discuss it Friday. We've got a trailer, ladies and gentlemen. A Disney Plus series. It's called Loki. We're going to take a look at this trailer. Figure out is it going to be any good, and then we'll break it down and talk about it.
And I see the clowns are playing their parts to perfection.
Big metaphor guy. I love it. Makes you sound super smart.
I am smart.
I know.
Okay.
Okay.
Please sign to verify this is everything you've ever said.
This is absurd.
Sign this too.
We protect the proper flow of time. You picked up the Tesseract breaking reality. I want you to help us fix it.
Why me?
I need your unique Loki perspective.
Do I get a weapon?
Nah.
You really believe in this Loki variant?
Luckily, he believes in himself enough for the both of us.
Bye.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me say this. I've liked Loki's character in the MCU. I'm going to give this a shot. It seems like they are kind of watering down the amount of power Loki has. And I kind of get a suicide feel from this thing, as if, okay, he took the Tesseract, he bent the timeline, so now he's going to be time jumping all over the place, trying to fix messes that he created. But what is the motive? How are what are they going to offer him to get him to cooperate? And at the same time, what villainous plot is Loki going to be trying to concoct behind the scenes? Larry, thoughts and opinions on this trailer and where you think they're going with Loki?
Yeah, I was wondering, like, is this even really Loki? I mean, they have it on there that he's a variant, so maybe it's not even really him. You know?
Okay.
Maybe it's just one particular Loki from the multiverse or something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it says on that paper variant. They referred to him as a variant, and he had a jumpsuit on that said variant on the back. So, I mean, I'm thinking it's not even really him, or not the main Loki. So, yeah,
Well,
I don't know.
Was you intrigued by the trailer?
Honestly, not so much. I mean, it didn't seem bad. It just didn't move me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it just didn't move me. It didn't seem bad at all, though. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna watch it, and I'm hoping that it's awesome. But this trailer didn't particularly move me. I do like Owen Wilson, so I hope he's really good in it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the black chick's name that's in there. What's her name? I can't remember her name now, but I usually like her when she shows up and stuff. So I'll see. You know, I'm going to give it a good shot and see how it works. You know, see how I like it. But you know, I'm okay with the trailer not being the best. I'd rather it be just okay and the show turns out to be awesome than they show me everything in the trailer, all the best parts, and then I'm left disappointed.
Is this going to be another one of those situations where the black people not going to like it, but the white people are going to be all up here kissing Loki's TV show butt? Are you getting that feel, Larry?
Probably, because there's not going to be a black lead in it, for one. And there's just, I mean, I every time I want to say there's not a lot of black comic book fans come out and say that they're black comic book fans. But the reality of it is the vast majority of black people out there are not big comic book fans. And so Loki is one of those characters. I feel like if you don't read the comics and haven't read the comics, you're probably not familiar with them and probably don't care. And I mean, But that's not to say that it can't turn out to be great that everybody watches, because WandaVision was one of those shows where it was sort of started off as a really in the weeds comic book geek sort of thing with a lot of Easter eggs and people not really sort of understanding what's going on, except for people who kind of already knew what was kind of going on, from the comics and understanding what some of the different characters' powers were already. And so I think that it's a possibility that people could be intrigued by it, and maybe we'll get some of that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't really have a lot of expectations on there. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, after Falcon Winter Soldier, I'm sort of tempering my expectations. I don't want to expect too much, because I'll be honest with you, I feel like they should have done Falcon and Winter Soldier first and then WandaVision, because after WandaVision, my expectations were so high for Falcon and Winter Soldier that I'm now let down a bit. And we still have 3 episodes left, so I'm hoping that they will ramp it up, because they did. Even with WandaVision, I loved it all the way through. Some people said the first few episodes were a little slow and weak for them. I liked it all the way through, but they did ramp it up as they kept going on. The episodes kept getting more intense and better and better. And I'm hoping that Falcon and Winter Soldier get that way. And I'm hoping maybe that Loki will be in the same vein, where even if you are not a big comic book geek, that you'll watch this and find it intriguing, and maybe you'll learn something about Loki, who's one of this sort of side characters again, and you can learn something and like him and be able to go further into the MCU and enjoy it more because you know more about the characters.
Let us not forget Loki is a god, ladies and gentlemen. And as a comic book, someone who has, I'm not going to say aficionado, but a comic person, to see him undergoing earthly justice and being contained by earthly creatures, it's kind of hard to swallow, because Loki's a powerful god. On Asgard, he had powers. I mean, he could get some things done. He could manipulate people to help him out. And I'm wondering, are we going to get a bit of that in this series? If we do, we're going to be good. I'm not going into this thing with any expectations. I'll look for the Easter eggs. I'll look for the comic references. And hopefully it turns out to be good. And hopefully we can turn on more and more Black people to good comic stories that the MCU and other DC and Amazon is putting out. But this trailer was a classic teaser. And from there, that's where we'll leave it at. So, ladies and gentlemen, please continue to hit those thumbs up buttons. Be sure to leave us some comments, share our videos, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to Larry's channel. Any closing words, my brother Larry?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go live this Saturday. So I'm gonna do my giveaway show. I wanted to actually do it this past Saturday, but I got my second dose of the vaccine and I wasn't sure how I was gonna end up feeling, because people say that you get the side effects on the second dose can be pretty intense. But luckily I didn't get anything other than some fatigue. So yeah, I'm gonna go live on Saturday, probably around 9, 8, 9 o'clock, depending on what everybody, if you guys want to show up, that'd be cool. I'll have to see what your guys' schedule looks like, but it's going to be Saturday and I'm going to give some stuff away. I have a lot of stuff here that needs to get given away so I can make some room for new stuff. So yeah. And always mask up.
Yep. Mask up. Get ready for this brother's live until that next Sexy as Hell video live stream, which will be Wednesday night. We're going to get ready to get you guys geared up for snowfall. That's getting hot. We'll see you then.
Peace.